everyone, and welcome to Dangerous Fly Fishing, episode 79. I am your guest host, Ross Lyskoka, sitting here today with Jim Carney. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And over on the other side of the table, all by himself, is Mr. Matt Carney. How are you, sir?
I am all by myself over here. I'm doing pretty good. So why are you guest hosting tonight, Ross?
Well, I am guest hosting because we are very happy to announce that our buddy Chris Cooper and his wife Amanda had their baby yesterday. Yeah,
Yep, yesterday evening around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Happy, healthy little boy, and we're glad to see it, that's for sure, and glad everybody's feeling okay and happy and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But
What's the young man's name?
I believe it's going to be Oliver.
Oliver. Okay.
As far as I know, but I may be wrong on that.
That was my understanding of the plan. So
Okay.
it's hard work over there having to hit the camera
Yeah,
buttons, isn't
dude,
it?
I am. I'm just going to apologize in advance this episode because I may be not putting the camera on who's actually talking. So bear with me.
Wow, doing a fine job so far.
Yeah.
Thank you. But
I mean, we can start off. What shenanigans you get into this? Do any fishing, Ross?
I did a little bit yesterday. I've been kind of trying to scout out new trout waters because taking the nephew around, it's kind of difficult to let a small child wade in areas that I'm used to being able to wade.
Not safe. Really.
Yeah, not quite as tall as you.
Yeah.
So it kind of creates some. I can just usually walk right across this rapid, and then suddenly it's at his waist, and you got a whole mess of a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's especially with him being like he's a lot shorter than I guess other children of his age too. So even like. Plus, he's not used to waders. He's not used to wading. Yeah. So, like, there was a couple times I took him in the weeks prior where he'd be standing not in the run, but, like, I could tell he was getting a little picked up by the water and everything. Yeah. So, it was a good time, but I'm not used to fishing in easy access areas.
Well, I mean, the other thing he's going to take a hot minute to get used to is wading boots tend to be a little clunkier than the normal shoes you wear. So, it's...
Well, I can say from my perspective, I'm in my mid-70s, and I took a couple years off after my wife passed away, and just getting back into the stream, even as long as I've worn waders, it was a struggle. And in fact, I bailed on Kettle Creek when I was there 2 years ago because, the water chest deep and being very unsteady on my feet, I actually was worried about falling in the water, and without good recovery, Kettle Creek would be nowhere to fall in the water.
No, not at all.
And so I can understand the young man's concern, and of course our concern for him.
Absolutely.
So,
the last thing I want to do is get him out of trout fishing just because he takes a couple dunks in the water because his uncle wasn't paying attention.
Everybody falls.
Yep.
Even the great Ross Lyskoka.
Only once. Only once.
Witnessed and on camera.
Not the fall, just the aftermath. But you took a weekend trip down to Falling Water?
Yeah, I went down to Ohio Pile, basically the greater Laurel Highlands area with Corey this weekend. It was a very depressing trip. I had a lot of fun. It was a good time. Nice weekend. But it was a very depressing trip because I don't think I've ever spent so much time around such beautiful water without getting a line wet.
Well, you had a beautiful girl to look at all weekend, so.
I did. But yeah, it was really nice. I went and because I've been there a bunch of times, like fishing and stuff in the past. So I kind of knew, like, okay, here's how we get to Ohio Pile. Let's go check out the falls. I showed him the natural water slide, which was roaring.
Yeah, I only got a chance to go down there. I think it was on a school field trip, but I wasn't allowed to go down the natural water slide, which really disappointed me.
It's pretty scary. It's also pretty dangerous, but I would not do it in the current conditions for sure. Like I did it last summer a couple times, but it's kind of scary because you move along pretty good. The rocks are generally pretty smooth because the water's eroding them and smoothing them out. But there's like one pool about halfway down that kind of has an eddy in it. And if you don't hit it just right, you go feet first. That way, if you plow into something, your feet hit instead of your head. When this eddy, you can get turned around, and then you have to do the other half head first.
That
is terrifying.
It would be kind of a hoot for me, to tell you the truth. Like that's the kind of stuff I look for when I'm doing ridiculous things.
That was the only part doing it in the past that made me slightly uncomfortable because, like I said, even in low water, you tend to move pretty good because, I mean, I'll post the video up on the Instagram so people can see what I'm talking about. I mean, the water's kind of high and ripping now. It'd be a very quick ride, but even when it's low, it's still pretty fast. But it is a trout stream. Obviously, there's no fish in that stretch.
It was that the video, I think you posted it on Facebook.
That was the Ohiopyle Falls I posted. I'll put up the natural water slide this evening. But yeah, that was the Ohiopyle Falls that I think we should definitely take the raft over.
Yeah, because
George Washington chickened out, so I think we can one-up him.
How do you chicken out?
Oh, they have a big well, he was going down on a tied-together wood raft.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, they have a big brass sculpture like right by the falls, like showing the history and kind of showing like, hey, here's the boats people do it in now, but George Washington tried it in a wood tied together raft.
Yeah.
He portaged.
Yeah, I would not recommend that at all. That sounds like anything tied together in the water is...
Well, yeah, especially because you're bouncing off rocks and currents. I mean, it's quite the rapid leading into the falls, and then like falling off under the falls. I'm thinking is probably not a great experience, and I think you're actually not even allowed to go down it without written permission from the state.
Well, I'm not going to do that. No, actually, I was, the more that I look up fishing stuff on like Instagram and Facebook and all that, I saw something that was very interesting to me where people were talking about like small waterfalls like that, and it had people underneath like a 3-foot or a 4-foot or a 5-foot drop, like trying to stand in the water coming off a waterfall, and like giant, well-built dudes can't even stand up under all that water pressure.
Those low head, I mean, basically this falls operates like a low head dam essentially. And low head dams are very dangerous because there's a lot of turbulence underneath you. You can get trapped in basically in a vicious cycle of, I pop out but can't quite get to the surface to breathe, and then you get sucked back down under, and yeah.
Yeah, I would like a supercharged strip current almost.
Yeah, and that's like, me being a scuba diver, I always thought it'd be fun to like kind of go dive and see what's under there, but then it's like, what if you get stuck down there? You just prolong your drowning for an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to sit there and panic all the The one nice thing, though, about those is they tend to kick up a whole lot of water and make some real nice pools.
Well, that the hole I saw when I was there, like right below it, like I'm kind of like, I need to figure out how to get a watercraft in here because I definitely want to go fishing in this hole. Because, I mean, it's a big hole, and I guarantee you with as much changing current and stuff, like, I'm pretty sure it's pretty scoured out. Like, there's huge eddies on the side. Like, I know there's monster fish, be them musky or trout or bass. Like, I know there's monsters in there.
Oh, there's got to be all that. Like, at the end of the day, that water is going to bring down whatever food source for whatever fish and drop it right in that pool.
Absolutely.
And just based off the pictures you were sending me, I get that raft ready, buddy. We're going to get some ramming speed going right over that low head dam.
I don't think we're going to have a problem getting the ramming speed because that water was hauling.
I can promise you if we're going over that thing, I will be rowing nonstop.
may turn the motor on and try and shoot it extra good.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, it's I mean, it's a very pretty area. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the area. Like there's a lot of wineries. There's obviously skiing because it's the Laurel Highlands, but like Ohiopyle itself, it's basically whitewater rafting and bicycles is the two big things.
There's a hiking trail goes a long way up along the river.
Yeah, well, it's also the bicycle trail now.
Right. Oh, okay.
I do like that
because it's part of the what do they call it? The Great Allegheny Passage. Like you can ride from Pittsburgh to D.C. and like part of it's going.
Is that part of it?
Part of it's going through Ohiopyle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the. Is Rails to Trails is the other popular thing.
Basically, what it is a Rails to Trail. It's the old B&O line, I think, or something that ran from Pittsburgh down to D.C.
Nice. That's I'm a big fan of utilizing old stuff like that because that's like, I mean, all the game lands around here. You see all the logging roads and stuff that they used, and while I don't like it because it brings more people into the areas where I hunt and fish, I do like it because it brings more people into areas where they can enjoy the wildlife.
Yeah. Well, the other nice thing about access stuff like that is it's also pretty easy to get rescue stuff there if needed.
That is true. and I hope I never have to rely on that.
I'm not saying you should, but I'm just saying it's kind of nice that the trail's wide enough. If they needed to, they could run an ambulance like 3 miles down to go pick up somebody who had a heart attack or something.
Yeah, unfortunately, those kind of easy access brings in people that require you to bring ambulances.
You're not wrong.
It was kind of interesting because there was just like I don't remember noticing it before, but there's kind of like a coming down the one hill into Ohio Pile. It's like almost looks like it used to be an old runaway truck ramp. Ooh. Nowhere near as high, but it's now like grass and maintained, and it's like helicopter landing zone. I assume for people that get jacked up doing the white water or whatever.
Yeah, that's. I had a buddy that I used to work with. He was real big into like whitewater kayaking to the extent of he's like rescued people out of Slippery Rock Creek up by us, right under the mills. Ohio Pile, I think he used to work around there like pretty consistently with the rescue team or whatever. But he was like, you can't even imagine the amount of people that like have no business doing any of that.
Oh, and they do it.
And they're just like, oh, it's water, I'll be fine. Yeah. Like, I know how to row a kayak. And
Well, I know. So my ex-wife's cousin was captain in Sano for whitewater kayaking and rafting. And he was so good that if somebody went missing on the river, they would have him go and literally find the body, clip it to his kayak, and have him tow the body back.
That's terrifying.
But it was kind of, like you said, like I had only been once in Alaska, and like it was pretty paltry because I think we ended up doing like the New River Gorge or something with him. Because he had like his own raft, his own kayaks. And yeah, we got pinned, like the raft. I was in a kayak by myself, and then he was there with my ex-wife and her sisters, and the raft like came off funny on a rock and was just pinned by the current coming over.
Oh wow.
And it was like I had to beach the kayak, go over, hold his belt, and he like literally like dove into the rapid to like try and jostle the raft loose. I'm like, this is a lot of fun, but this is kind of where I can definitely see people dying.
Yeah, that's you don't realize how much water is in fact water, like, for lack of a better term.
How much force and power it has. Like you kind of do when you're wading, but it's, like you're also only wading in places that are safe. But like when you're standing on the middle of a rock where it's just crashing, it's like, wow, I'm on an island over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing too is like, like the one time he was telling me like these guys went down, I think there was 4 of them and only 3 returned.
Oh.
And they lost one, and I'm like, I don't understand how you leave a buddy behind. But it was like we went through and we couldn't get back up to him.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? That water moving that fast, and like especially if you get sucked under a rock or something. Like
that was pretty much. He just disappeared, and they said they pulled over the first spot they could, hoping to see him bobbing and weave him down. They're like, nope, he never came.
Yeah,
Sasquatch.
Well, and they had to send Bobby in. Bobby found him.
That's unfortunate.
So, but
that's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, pretty scary, a lot of fun. Because, like, we've shot some low-head dams just for fun, but they're also not supremely dangerous low-head dams, if, there is such a thing.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that, like, oh, it's not deep. Like, we can stand underneath this. We'll send it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think that we are experienced enough raftsmen that we should definitely shoot that thing and see how it turns up.
Absolutely. I'm definitely wearing a bump helmet and a life jacket.
And GoPros.
And GoPro. Oh, absolutely. GoPros went without saying.
But, well, I'll get it back into a little bit of fishing stuff. Kind of in a little bit of, I don't want to call it a lull, but like...
Well, the problem is we work so fast with trout flies that I think like our next trout fly doesn't hatch till June, and we have like a whole month. So it seems kind of silly to talk about them this early. But I also thought, hey, I can walk again because of Magic Superman pills, so I'm thinking about going and chasing some toothy critters tomorrow. So let's talk about some toothy critters.
Yeah, early season muskie is kind of the topic of discussion here. And
well, on top of that, some of the places our listeners are from, their muskie, like ours never closes in PA. It's just kind of the courtesy, hey, don't fish during the spawn, leave them alone. But, like the northern states, like their seasons are going to be opening here this month, or I think end of May, like end of May is the opener, I think, for New York, and is Wisconsin June something, I think, maybe.
That sounds right. They have a really truncated season.
Yeah, it runs from, I think, like June to November or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's probably right. Funnily enough, you talk about like leaving them alone during spawning. That's the first subject that I was looking up doing all this.
Yeah.
Typically, when we say it's muskie spawning season, high 50s and all the way up to like some high 60s is when muskie are typically going to spawn. Fun. I did not know this, but muskie are like, they lay their eggs in extremely shallow water. Like within, it's not uncommon to see them in like 6 inches or 12 inches of water.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's really shallow.
Yeah. And they are also one of the only fish that does not protect their spawn sites.
Yeah, they're pretty much drop and go.
Yeah, the females will just kind of cruise through, carpet bomb the area. Males come through and drop whatever they need to ensure fertilization. And the males will hang out longer, basically, to ensure that...
No, the male sprays down the area.
That and that ensure it's actually fertilized.
Oh, okay.
But like the females just drop their eggs and go, and it's...
A little carpet bombing and moving on.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why there's such a... Oh, it's one of the reasons they have such a high mortality rate. It's because like they spawn later after, especially pike, which is the biggest consumer of muskie fry, I'll say, on the average.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly the muskie are not like the videos, the cute videos of Instagram you see where like the mother fish opens her mouth and all her little fries go hide in her mouth when a predator fish comes around.
Yeah, I love seeing and like just like, why is she eating them? Oh, she's not actually doing
the predator goes away and she goes and just like spits them all out. But, I mean, the downside of that strategy is the predator fish may only have gotten a couple fries, but if it gets the mom full of the fry, it gets it all.
Yeah, so they 4 for $4 at Wendy's, easy basket.
Yeah, all your eggs in one basket. But
that's hilarious.
Muskies are dropping and going, and basically they don't protect their young at all, so their young can kind of get predated upon pretty easily.
Yeah, which is another interesting thing I found is that at like 4 days or the eggs will take about 8 to 14 days on average to hatch, and similar to other fish, they'll consume the egg sac. But they're only really, I guess, helpless for the first 4 days.
Oh, really?
At 4 days old, they will start eating other fish. They grow so rapidly.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not uncommon to see muskie that like are 12-inch long after about like 4 months is the minimum range.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is quite a rapid growth.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the only reason they're still alive right now is because they just grow so fast that, I mean, if they're 12 inches long at 4 months, in my mind, 4 inches long at a month kind of deal.
Well, I think they slow down once they start leaving the easy prey for everything else part of the growth.
Absolutely. I mean, I did not look up the growth rates for muskie, but if you want to do a quick Google, it's widely studied and like measured.
I can't remember the name of the arc, but it goes up real fast and then it kind of like slowly plateaus.
Yeah, it's almost like a horsepower.
Yeah.
If you ever see the tachometer, like it gets to a certain range and then just kind of tapers off.
Yeah, and that's basically essentially like they grow to whatever, probably in the 20s, I would assume, pretty fast, and then it basically tapers off. So those monster fish you're seeing out there, the 50 inchers and whatnot, like those are old fish.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the other research I was doing, it's females roughly right above 20 inches are about 3 years old, and that's when they actually become sexually mature. So in the first 3 years, they're growing 2 foot long, which is really rapid. But after that, like you were saying, it does taper down. But there's like I want to say it's like 2 inches a year for like muskie once
they're mature.
Yeah, once they're actually mature, but I could be wrong on that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the important thing I think is getting to around that 2 foot range, because then you start hitting the size where most other fish other than bigger muskie or a big pike aren't really going to be. You're now almost the top of the food chain essentially.
Oh yeah, I mean, hell, even a trout of the same size isn't even going to attempt to eat you. So
no, I mean, like I said, you see those videos of like muskie and pike like choking to death trying to eat another giant muskie or pike. So I mean, like you should theoretically be generally pretty safe. But I have no doubt a 50-inch muskie would have no problem eating a 20-inch muskie.
I believe it, and I would kind of like to see it. If it was
I think we've actually seen videos of muskies slamming big pikes.
Oh yeah, that's
great.
That's one of my favorite things to see on the internet. I don't know why. It's just like, because you look at that pike swimming through the water and he's like, oh yeah, I'm king of this, and then out of nowhere crawling out of the weeds is this just gargantuan fish, and suddenly there's no more pike.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw an interesting video. I don't know how whoever got the camera there, but it was like a perch just like sitting there, like right on the edge of the grass, just by the bottom, and like the pike just kind of swims up slowly, and like the perch is kind of eyeing him up, but like, okay, he's staying like 2 feet or 3 feet away, and all of a sudden just explosion and a blur, and the perch is gone, and all you see is the tail of the pike, and it's like that acceleration is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, you can tell these things evolved to do just that. Because,
Yes.
I mean, that's one of those things that you can't teach speed kind of deal. I can't remember who made that quote, but it's accurate. You cannot teach just raw physical ability.
I think that was in reference to Deion Sanders because they couldn't really teach him to do anything else. He was just fast.
That checks out. Dude was quick.
Couldn't tackle, couldn't catch, but damn was he fast.
Give him the ball and let him go. I didn't realize either, just to kind of wrap up our like spawning little segment, females will lay up to like 180,000 eggs at once. The big ones that are well mature, but even at like the bottom end of that range, on average, it's like 20,000, 22,000 plus.
That is crazy.
Like, I never realized that it was that much, and it kind of makes sense. Like, if they're not going to stay and guard their fry,
Well,
then
they need those numbers in order to get a healthy batch of spawn. Yeah,
Another
absolutely.
interesting question. Maybe we can have an ichthyologist answer for us. It's the person who studies fish.
I know that.
I kind of wonder when these muskie fry, do they turn around and start eating their siblings, like still in the egg, like when they hatch? I don't know. I mean, you would think that would be a very high protein, delicious meal there that's sitting there waiting to be hatched. Like, cool, I'm first. Yum, 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 yum. I don't know.
It might be. Like, I mean, it's sharks will eat. Isn't that like great whites that'll eat their siblings in the womb?
I think you are right.
Yeah, and it's like survival of the fittest, I guess. And if you're a muskie, hey, I need to get big real quick. So these eggs, deal with it, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also kind of interesting them dumping that many eggs because it basically just means like, if you float like the Allegheny River water with the muskies, like, I'm assuming they have their spots where they like to spawn, which you assume is not the entire river. So, I mean, that's basically like the 200,000 eggs or whatever just dumped in this one spot.
Yeah.
Well, to an extent, yeah. I mean, the eggs latch onto bottom structure after they're laid, but, I mean, with it just being carpet bombed like that, they could be...
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, this is the prime spot. So you have 3 females dropping 200,000 eggs each in that one hole.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I would love to see it. Or I'd love to actually like get a confirmation on that because I'm sure it happens. Like there's too many fish.
Yeah, they don't just drop them everywhere, so they would almost have to. But I kind of feel like we need to get some scuba gear and start doing some Jacques Cousteau and just float down with GoPros, just filming the muskie as we go.
I mean, I will not wear the scuba gear, but I'll work the boat. I'll pull you out of the river.
Oh, okay. Well, you could snorkel.
No.
Oh, you don't snorkel anymore?
I used to when I was in places worth snorkeling, but snorkeling in a Western PA river is kind of just going to be like, oh, cool, it's brown. Oh, look, more brown.
That's fair.
Besides some of them. There's a couple crystal clear ones that would be interesting, but...
Yeah, it would also be interesting to see like how they'd react to a scuba diver, because while they may see fishermen in boats, I'm not sure how many scuba divers they've seen.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
Especially around here.
Yeah, I'm thinking not.
It sounds like a great way to get bit.
Wear a GoPro.
Does it count if you haul a muskie in off your flipper?
I mean, technically I touched it, so if I get possession of him off of my flipper, I think that could count as a catch. I mean, I've caught how many fish like just sneaking up on it and grabbing them. Those count.
Right. Yeah, well, might be scuba diving with you.
Scuba diving, sneaking up on muskie and catching them. They may be slightly harder to grab than a trout, though.
Yes, they absolutely would.
Yeah, because they're hard to hold when you're unhooking them and trying to take photos, too. So
yeah, plus they're underwater and still slimy, like completely slimy. Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's going to find out. Find the laws on catching muskie by hand in the PA fish book.
Right. Well, do you want to take a quick break and then we'll kind of get into like...
How to fish for them?
Yeah, location, fly selection, stuff like that?
Absolutely. We should definitely do that.
All right. Sounds good, guys. We'll see you after this guitar riff.
All right. See you in a few.
And welcome back to Dangerous Fly Fishing. I'm Ross Lyskoka. That's Jim Carney next to me. How are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
I'm glad to hear
You got to talk to the microphone there, guy.
Oh, yeah.
Help, I suppose.
Oh, I could hear you. That's important.
Yeah, that's the only
Yeah, you're
important
2 feet away. Turns out everybody else can't hear him.
Nah. And over to our right is Mr. Matthew Carney. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well.
I'm starting to get the hang of this recording thing. I might kick Cooper out of his spot.
Well, I mean, after last week's debacles, yeah, I don't know what happened. Somehow we didn't have video in the first segment. And then, apparently I forgot to edit the clacker out of the audio segment. It was a whole thing, man.
That's all right. That's, authentic programming. We don't do any post-production here. So.
Yeah, we also don't have a producer sitting over there doing stuff. So,
which I'm glad about. I don't like listening to them. So
yeah, that's fair. We do what we want.
Exactly. So before the break, we were talking kind of about where muskie spawn, and kind of how they spawn, and next we're going to get into what you should be doing in early spring to catch these large toothy critters.
Now that the spawn's over, of course.
Well, they will spawn depending on where they're at. Up
Yeah,
north.
obviously north they're going to spawn a little later than they do down here, because I think down here they theoretically spawn in April.
Anywhere from April to June is kind of the wide time frame.
Yeah, I think Pennsylvania, though, the general rule of thumb here is April is usually when the muskie spawn.
It sounds right.
Well, that's when the water starts hitting 50 and 60.
Exactly, but I haven't been keeping up on water temps as much as I normally do. So
That's true. When the trout fishing gets good, that's when the muskie are spawning.
Exactly. Trout fishing's rarely good around me. I've been having such a tough time with doing this like streamer and wet fly only
You're not
thing.
doing as well? Yeah.
I'm not doing as well, and it's frustrating.
Oh, I'm
in a
sure,
way.
yeah.
Especially going from like knowing, I don't want to say everything, but going out and being able to be like, yeah, I'm going to be successful here, here, and here, and I'm good. And then going to like a completely different version of things.
I did a very similar thing many, many years ago. I started out doing nothing but dry fly fishing.
Yeah.
And I would go up to Kettle Creek, and we'd be throwing dry flies at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning on a 45-degree day.
Yeah.
Nothing was hatching, but we labored away. And I started doing a lot of reading on nymph fishing, and finally I just decided that one year I'm just going to nymph fish. So I left my chest box at home, and everyone saw last week.
Right.
I left that box at home, and I just fished nothing but nymphs the whole entire summer and it really improved my ability to do that.
Right. Which
And right now I start with nymphs all the time. I come to a stream, I watch. If I don't see anything coming off, and I'll tell you how bad it was. A hard habit to break, dry fly fishing. I was up at Oil Creek one day, and doing my nymph thing, and I started nymph fishing, and I caught 4 or 5 fish pretty much right off the bat, and then I saw a trout rise. And that was it. I took my fly off and put a dry fly on. I think I caught 1 trout the rest of the day.
it was the one to fool you.
Yep.
That was the sacrificial lamb. Hey, buddy, go up there and catch that dry fly.
That's right.
Let him leave the rest of us alone. Oh, God. But, well, I guess good thing to start off is kind of the location.
Yes, where are these fish after they're done doing the giggity?
Yeah, doing right after the thaw out and everything.
Right, this is early season.
Yeah, right about now,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
It's a little late for thaw out, per se, but with how much cold weather we've had over the past couple weeks,
Yep, this miserable spring.
We had ice through March on the lake, so.
Exactly. I'll still call it a thaw out, but right around now, water temps, above 45 to 55 degrees, up to 60,
Yeah, I think most of your lakes at this point are probably, like your western Pennsylvania lakes, I think most of them at this point are probably into the upper 40s, mid and probably the 50s, because I know a couple weeks ago I took my friend and his kids out, and we were on Moraine, and the water temp at Moraine was 48.
Yeah.
So
Still decently cold, but
right, but by now hopefully it picked up.
yeah. And it's great this is your first fantastic segue, Matt, because the thing I have written down is water is going to warm up quicker in different areas.
That is true.
And
shallow water warms up quicker.
Exactly. So
and sun-facing water warms up quicker.
Absolutely. So even though, if all you can fish is lakes for muskie, might want to look at some other places. Not, don't go in the deep section where you troll for them. You might need to go to, like Matt was saying, sun-facing bays, shallow areas. Kind of what I have written down here is you go thin to win.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, like for instance, a good shallow bay on the north side of the lake may be the key to success because, for those unaware, the sun rides southward across our sky, meaning that it may never actually crest the hill or mountain to warm up the south side of the bay.
Right.
A south bay.
Exactly. And that's it. I had a brain fart. Basically, for my rule of thumb for the early season kind of things is look for the areas first that get the most sunlight, like Matt's saying.
Yeah.
They're cold-blooded fish. They're going to look for any advantage they have to help warm up and jumpstart their metabolism. So the more areas you see when you're out anywhere, like, oh, this is really sunny and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, that would be a good place.
Well, I'd also highlight with the sun comes vegetation growth.
Absolutely.
And we all know muskie and pike and whatnot, they all like vegetation because it's great ambush points. Also, bait fish like to hang around and hide in there. So, your north-facing bays may get vegetation a little sooner than the south ones just because they're getting that much more sunlight.
Absolutely. And that's a real easy thing to see, too, anywhere in any body of water. You will see those green sections where vegetation is starting to grow sooner than other places. That's always, if you want to find a muskie, look for weeds. That's
a well-known rule of fishing for them. Good ambush point.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
There.
And what's kind of great for fly fishermen fishing for muskie this time of year is the fish like to hang out in 2 to 6 feet of water. Like, it's where that sun hits them perfectly. They're warming up. Like, you hear so often that like muskie are so difficult to catch. This is where fly fishermen can really shine because being able to present something in 2 to 6 feet of water is kind of our thing.
Well, yeah, because a lot of your lures and stuff, like I have some conventional muskie tackle from when like the one time a year when I go up and do a tournament at Chautauqua, just because Chautauqua's 1,000,000 feet deep. Not really, but it's like 80. But you'll like be cruising around and you'll see a muskie suspended at 40 feet. And I am not getting a fly down to 40 feet. Not effectively. So, but those rapalas and stuff, like when you reel them, they have a tendency, like if you reel it constantly, they tend to run 4 to 8 or 6 to 10 feet deep reeling this rapala. And that's why a lot of guys do the reel, stop, let it come up to keep it in that target zone. Fly fishing, you can basically live there with a neutrally buoyant fly.
Absolutely. It's one of the rare times that we actually have an advantage with things.
Well, and with the water starting to warm up, one of the big benefits of me for fly fishing for muskie versus using conventional tackle is with fly fishing, because it's basically based on your line. And, like I said, your flies are typically neutrally buoyant. Obviously, they're not all, but doing fly fishing, like especially if you're using like an intermediate line with like a real low sink rate, you basically can work that fly forever in the cold water, especially because, they're going to be lethargic and not apt to chase. So, yeah, fly fishing, 2 to 6 feet of water, it's ideal. If the water's 40 degrees, they're going to be a little lethargic, throw that intermediate on and, just kind of work it slow.
Absolutely. Like it's another, you kind of find muskie in these places pretty commonly, but like slow moving areas of river, eddies, basically anywhere where you'll be able to ambush things. But especially right now, like below islands, anywhere where there's not substantial current that's going to make muskie work to hang out in. Like if you've got a good intermediate line and slow moving water, just hang out in there and just cover every single thing that you can because you have the ability to.
Well, even at that, like if you actually have enough water clarity and look, like you can often see bait fish just hanging out in the same area your fly is, at least until your fly gets too close and they say, oh crap, it's going to eat me. But, like you can, in shallow or clearer water, you can actually see like, oh, okay, that's where the bait fish are congregating. Predators are probably going to be nearby. So
absolutely. I mean, if I'm hungry, you're going to find me around a grocery store.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing to look out for, too, is like this is a great time of year to look for easy advantages, like creek beds that, if it's a smaller tributary, it's going to warm up faster than the big river. Areas where like those smaller creeks will dump in with warm water and all kinds of bait fish, and dumping it out with the current into warm water, there's probably going to be something that's hungry sitting at the bottom of wherever that's dumping into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and also if there's a big temperature change, any fish coming out of the smaller body of water into the bigger body of water, it could be a temperature shock, no matter which way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it, could kind of give them a little bit of a shock, slow them down a little bit. So, easy meal for those seeking it.
Absolutely. And that's like log jams. I love fishing them in general, but like especially this time of year for muskie, like it's a great current break. There's going to be bait fish that aren't suspecting anything. Maybe there may be some substantial current around log jams, which there typically is. That's why we call them strainers.
Yeah.
But like that's a great place to hang out and hide for muskie, because they can hang out in the slack water behind whatever's in the middle of the river and look for small, easy meals.
Yeah, because I mean, I've literally seen them where there's just like one tree branch hanging down off a log, and they're literally just sitting right behind the tree branch.
Oh yeah, that when I first started going for muskie, that place you took me up, it was comical. There was like I thought they were branches just laying off the tree in the middle of water, and he's like, no, look closer at those, and there's like a half a dozen muskie just
stacked up behind a tree.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see, but I feel bad for those fish in that river because it's right off of a outflow of a dam, which is another good spot, to fish for them this time of year.
Right, yeah.
But like you can just, in fact, there was one really large one that like it still had a rapala, like that it broke off, it hanging in its mouth. He was a mean looking sucker, but they get pressured a lot with conventional tackle.
But it was kind of nice though, because you could kind of see pretty readily what structure they were keying in on in this body of water. Like there was not a lot of current, so they were like no like big boulders or anything, but they were definitely like you literally would just see them key up behind the trees and stuff. Yeah. And that's where you found them.
Absolutely, and it was also really interesting to me to see how well they could see even above and or below that log, because Matt and I would throw flies, upstream, trying to give them a good presentation, and you'd watch the fly would hit the water, and they'd all just turn like heat-seeking missiles, just like what's that, and literally watch it go across. It was incredible to me, but it's one of those things that I never. You get so few opportunities to actually see that in person. Like it was like a National Geographic documentary. It was beautiful to me,
Yeah, it was the same thing, because I mean it's the overfished body of water, but like they still have to live there, so it's kind of like you get a lot of good feedback, like okay, that sound hitting the water drew its attention, like because they'd freaking cruise up and down the thing, and you try and get their attention. It's like, okay, well that fly didn't get his attention, and we'll try a different fly next time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it was kind of a rare, one of those rare opportunities where you get pretty consistent feedback on what you're doing muskie wise.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, any feedback while I'm fishing is
good.
It's invaluable.
Good or bad.
Yeah. Well, that's funnily enough, like especially when Matt and I will fish for muskie later on, and the water blows out or whatever. It's a common, not disagreement, but a common like point to where we're like, are we actually like missing fish, or are we just not getting any action? Like we can't see anything, and then all of a sudden muskie just appears out of the scum water right next to the boat. It's like, oh, I guess it was a follow, but we can't tell that, and we often wonder, do we do better in murky water or better in clear water?
Yeah. I think I catch more fish in murky water because then I'm not trying to play chess with them, but it's me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of to wrap up, like where you're going to look for muskie this time of year. Any body or any part in the water where they don't have to fight current and they can soak up sun.
Yeah,
that's where you want to look.
And cover also.
Sounds like you're deer hunting.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah,
you're
hunting more than fishing, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's essentially what I think muskie fishing essentially is muskie hunting, because trout tend to be more evenly distributed across a stream or a body of water.
You think they're muskies are more looking for certain areas. Like a trout will get in a riffle and he'll.
Well, I think trout are, like trout will get in a riffle, literally hide behind a rock and just zip side to side, snack on stuff as it floats by.
The food floats by them.
Yeah. The muskie, on the other hand, we have seen them hide behind rocks, that's for certain. But it just seems that they tend to be found in kind of like the saltwater adage, 90% of saltwater fish are found in 10% of the water.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way it feels with muskie is, 90% of the muskie are found in 10% of the water.
Okay.
I definitely agree with that. And like after I started getting successful at muskie fishing, like starting to look at it to where, not to put myself in the fish's fins or whatever, but you can tell they're a predator.
Oh,
so like anywhere that you would be like, well, if I was a small fish, I wouldn't want to swim here because I'd get ambushed.
Yeah.
That's the first place I look because they're an apex predator.
And it's also kind of interesting for as much water as Ross and I have fished for muskie, especially because like we tend to prefer like moving water over lakes.
Sure, yeah.
But it's just kind of interesting to, like, when you're floating down, like, we can almost say, yeah, that's going to be a musky hole. That's going to be a musky. I mean, occasionally you're wrong. You get there. It looks like a big hole, and it ends up being 2 feet deep and just a big slack eddy. But it's the one really interesting thing to me is the differing structure kind of makes such a huge difference. Like, the one river that we fish, like, there's very few trees in it because it's very susceptible to, like, high water. Like, when it rains, like, it gets blown out.
Yeah.
And so there's very few trees or log jams or strainers in this body of water. And so it's kind of interesting and it has good muskie fishing, but it's kind of interesting to see like how the muskie actually orients since there is not like what you typically view as muskie cover. So like there's, like a lot of, it's Pennsylvania, so there's like a lot of the slate rocks and glacial rocks built into the streams, and you'll literally see them lining themselves up with the like the creases and seams in the rock in the water.
Yeah.
So that essentially when you look, they essentially blend right into the seam.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible to see, because especially some of the bigger fish, like they're 40, 48 inches, and you have to sit there and like look to see it when you'd think you could just like walk by and, oh yeah, there's muskie. Like,
I think the only reason we discovered them is because I see muskie everywhere.
Yeah.
I swear to God, Ross, that's a muskie over there.
There's muskies in his Modelo bottle over there right now. I don't think you can throw a Buford through that neck though. So.
No, that attitude.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just really interesting to see like how they adapt to the different structures. Like the Allegheny River, there's a lot of trees in the river, so they tend to go there or big eddies.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, on some of these other ones, like the one I was talking about, like there's no structure, so they had to adapt to survive there.
Sure.
And I mean, it's essentially the whole way through, even into the next body of water that it connects to and into the next body of water. Like there's not the structure that you typically would envision a muskie lurking behind. And it's just basically they've adapted to dealing with glacial rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Which,
I'm sure.
I mean, you work with what you got, I guess.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, even up on that creek closer to camp that I doubled up that one weekend, like, were there trees and stuff in that? Yeah. But like that was... that's a stream to where it typically has, this is going to sound really generic, but like a real shallow bank, and then the other side you can tell is just filled with large rocks. You know the rivers around camp very well. But like just seeing them hide out in a little rock fall or just a small pile or like right behind boulders in the middle of the stream, like it's... when they don't have the stereotypical things to hide behind, it's amazing the places they can jam like a 4-foot body into.
Yeah, like there's maybe a weird little gully in the stream bottom. That's where it plants itself. And it's like same body of water Ross doubled up on. Todd and I fished a couple weeks earlier, and it was like clear like an aquarium, and it was literally like we were going up, and it was like I was finding in musky in places I never would have thought to have seen a muskie, just because it's not your typical structure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is definitely one area that I realized I was underutilizing, was all those potholes that you see in a lot of these larger rivers, and especially Western Pennsylvania rivers. Like, if the water just looks a little bit deeper for 8 to 10 foot section,
Throw it.
You definitely want to throw it at there because when we were floating down there, like we'd kick fish out that it had no reason to be there, but that's where they were.
Yeah. Little current break, little cover, and that's where you decide to hang a shingle. But yeah, like I said, it seems to me that kind of like saltwater, musky, like 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. I mean, like there are exceptions to the rules because I think like the one body of water, first time Ross and I ever fished it, like we literally spotted one that was like in a trout run type looking water, and it was like, holy crap, is that a muskie?
Was that the one that we saw? Like again, Matt sees muskie everywhere. There was like, they must have been yearlings, like they were like a foot long.
No, that's a different one. But yeah, that's the one where you were making fun of me because you said I had muskie on the brain, and they were yearlings because they were like about this long. Well, I guess I should show the camera. They were about this long. And I was throwing a Buford, and they kept biting the tail because they were too small to actually take the fly. And I'm like, Ross, there's so many baby muskies here. Dude, you're crazy. There's no muskie. Yeah,
it turns out for once. The one time. And I looked to the right of the boat because I was on the sticks at that point. So I'm looking to deeper water, and he's like, oh, look at this eddy. And it's like 2 foot deep.
Oh, maybe. That is a huge eddy. You would retract that statement.
It was deeper than that, but they were all like stacked up right behind this. Oh, I'll call it a sandbar to where it actually creates the eddy. And like he was standing up so he could see right behind there. And he's like, no, get closer. Like, look. And I finally was like, all right. I stood up, and there's like 50 of them, just all like foot long. And Matt's throwing a Buford in there, and it was almost comical to see them like all just in a school sharking behind this thing. It was incredible, but I was really disappointed because I had to admit to Matt that he was right. It's one of those things, Like I said, he sees muskie everywhere, so the one time that he actually sees it.
I saw muskie everywhere that day.
There are muskie everywhere in that creek. We need to, once you get the raft ready again, like that's easy enough access too that that might be a good first trip for Jim.
That'll be like you and me take Jim because there are a couple places that require some portage.
Absolutely. So. We'll have to go on one of those days where it's a little higher water, but easily doable.
Yeah, because there's some nice musky fishing in that stretch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh.
I mean, there's also catfish that are as big as the muskie in that stretch.
Yeah.
Wow.
As well as like, I don't know if they hold records for carp, but like
yeah, they do.
Some of the ones in that, like you could like count how long it took them to swim by. They're just massive.
Wow.
Which that's another thing that I'd love to figure out how to do is like carp on a fly rod, but I'm gonna stick with muskie for now because they're more fun.
Well, catching one of those carp you're talking about may be more fun of a fight than a muskie.
Yeah, quite possibly because
they are some big carp.
Oh yeah, that was another weird thing that Matt and I found, which might be a little pro tip for us. We found like when there's carp big enough to not be eaten by muskie, for some weird reason, whenever we saw a school of carp or sucker that were that big, there was normally muskie hanging out near them.
Wow.
Which kind of baffled us, but if they're too big to be eaten, big fish got to stay in certain parts of the river, I guess.
On those, because it's 2 or 3 of the bodies of water we fish are like that. If you find the carp, you find the muskie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's well, I can imagine that at least for suckers and stuff, like they'll follow behind the school of them looking for the smaller ones to pick up a straggler or something.
Well,
like
yeah, because the carp are doing the digging around on the bottom, which is where the suckers feed. So yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
the little fish are letting the carp do all the hard work, and muskie are falling behind eating the little fish.
Absolutely.
So,
which I'm glad you brought up little fish because our next, you're like 2 for 2 on segues here, buddy.
What can I say, buddy?
But the next thing we have is like our fly selection and tackle considerations, and that is like Matt just said, smaller fish. Springtime is definitely a time where you want to downsize your flies for muskie.
So you're saying don't throw the double dragon sucker Buford that we had a lot of action in the fall.
Correct.
That's right. Guess I'll downsize.
Which I don't like fishing small musky fly. I feel like I'm doing better if I'm throwing just like logs.
Yeah, bigger fly means bigger musky, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bigger fly means bigger fish. I don't know why I can't catch trout.
Except for the trico hatch. That's like the opposite.
No, I'm going to make like a size 12 trico eventually. But no, like 4 to 7 inches is a pretty...
So a single Buford's probably about as big as you want to go.
Yeah, and that's... I'm glad you said that because I was trying to think of a fly that would be around that size.
Well,
but yeah,
single Bufords are about 8, give or take.
Yeah, depending on how well they've been used and how many feathers are left on the ass end of it. But yeah, 4 to 7 inches is kind of your go-to right now, which there's a whole lot of musky flies in that genre, as well as, I mean, I still like fishing clousers for musky when I can because it's a great all-purpose pattern.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
What's his name? Bob Clouser?
Yep.
Yeah, like another PA guy who is impactful on the fly fishing community. Like he designed that fly to be exactly what we're doing here, fishing shallow to deep rivers and being able to actually play it through wherever you need to.
Yeah.
And it's a great fly to use. Typically, clousers aren't even going to reach that 4-inch mark, but you might have to step it up to like a river pig kind of style. But
yeah,
general rule of thumb right now, 4 to 7 inches is kind of the size range you want to go to.
Okay. I mean, that's, I'm assuming, because the fish are a little more sluggish, probably not looking to digest that bigger fish because it's colder.
That and a lot of the stuff right now is still coming right out of spawning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's
a lot of even trout fishing. I was putting my flies away this afternoon, and I purposely I had to actually buy flies because I thought I was running low on stonefly nymphs.
I highly doubt that, Jim.
Yeah, well, I found even more. So I have probably 4 or 5, 6 dozen of stonefly nymphs, black stonefly nymphs, not to even talk about the goldens or the brown ones. But I read some articles, and when I fish stoneflies, I usually fish a 16 or an 18 this time of year because they're early. They were just born.
Yeah.
And then I have my 12s and 10s and stuff like that for later on in the year. And so even in trout fishing, everything's brand new. So you would think fish that muskies eat are smaller now than they will be in a month or so.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, there's a lot more smaller food that's plentiful.
Right.
Yeah. And if everything that they not normally eat is smaller right now, there's no sense trying to throw the big variant of that.
Not to mention, it's easier to run down a small fry than it is a full-grown adult.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's like being able to play a fly like a wounded fry or something that doesn't really know how to swim yet.
Yeah.
Another reason that fly fishing this time of year is great for muskie because you can actually control a fly the way it'll make it want to eat, if that makes sense. Instinctive strikes, I guess. Like if you're popping a little, 4-inch like bait fish pattern, being able to hold it, especially if it's neutrally buoyant in that slack water, and give that fish like a great broadside presentation, like do pauses, make it look like, hey, you should eat me.
Right, yeah.
You're not doing that with, I have whopper ploppers or whatever the hell they use for conventional fishing. Cheating fishing, I'll call it.
Rapalas and whatnot.
Yeah, but no, that's like, that's right now a great technique is just to be able to throw that bait fish along slack water and just let it sit and pop it, wiggle it, make it look like it should be eaten, I guess is the best way to sum it up.
If you ever watch bait fish, when they're standing in the, like, not actually actively doing anything, they generally just sit there. Yeah. So even if you just, pop it and say, oh, cool, I'm looking over here now, and pop it again, oh, cool, I'm looking over here. Like, that's how fish actually act. So you're replicating what they do.
Yeah. It's a lot of, if you're looking for an action, like you hear the walk the dog pattern.
Oh, yeah.
And like that this time, it's always good. But if you can get a smaller fly to do that this time of year, it just pays dividends in our experience.
Yeah. I was going to say most of your fly patterns in musky fishing in general tend to be neutrally buoyant. And that's obviously what you're going to have to work it slow like we're talking about. But, that being said, don't be afraid to throw on the clouser or river pig. Maybe try some jigging action to get some action.
Absolutely. Especially in if you come up on a real big eddy to where you can actually work a fly deep and from the bank to the run, being able to throw it through that slack water and just popping it off the bottom, jigging like he's saying, but make it look like something struggling to survive through that eddy. Yeah. They just hammer them off that time.
Yeah.
What's that? What it was that? Like an articulated leech that I caught one of those muskie off of.
Balanced.
Oh
no! You were talking about the muskie. I thought you were talking about the trout. Yeah, articulated leech.
Yeah, and it was I was casting pretty much on the bank. I call it a backboard shot because I normally bounce it off of rocks, but that's how I got those ones. It was in the fall. Water temperatures were cooler, similar to now. But I was basically swinging it and just popping it every once in a while, and that was the ticket.
Yeah, worked great for you. So that's, you brought up the bait. So what we're talking, small bait fish patterns are going to be good. The articulated leech that Ross mentioned is going to be good. Those are the two main ones that live underwater, but I also see, like a mouse in the evening, that could work. Snake could work.
Absolutely.
Because they're kind of, opportunistic predators. So, hey, a big stupid thing that fell in the water that doesn't belong here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to ambush the hell out of it. That's kind of what I have written down at the end of here is anything that looks like a quick, easy meal.
I'm kind of sad you forgot one.
What did I forget?
Ducklings.
We're
entering duckling season.
You're not wrong. I still haven't, I can't, was it Fat Buffalo Flies that ties those really realistic ducklings?
There's a couple of people do, but apparently they don't sell them.
Yeah, and that's, for the life of me, when I get a chance to actually, experiment and try and tie something new, I've been trying for ducklings ever since we got into this, because Matt's been we need duckling flies.
Well, my Duck Norris fly has not been successful to date.
Yeah, at least with ducklings and mice too. I'm not impressed by a lot of the mouse patterns in any genre of fly fishing.
I like the Master Splinter. I've had great success with trout with the Master Splinter.
That one, yes, but even the ones that I look at on Big Y or any of the online retailers, you look at them, it's that's not a mouse at all. It's just some craft fur underneath a piece of foam.
Yeah,
but that's essentially what the Master Splinter is. But it works.
Yeah, but it's tapered right, and it's it actually looks like a mouse body from underneath.
Yeah, it only looks like a mouse from underneath.
Yeah, but some of the other ones, it's just
it's like a bass popper, just stacked deer hair, no legs or anything.
Exactly, and that's it frustrates me. One, because I'm not good enough to tie a good duckling pattern yet, but I have been trying to figure it out for the life of me because I would love to catch a muskie off top water. That's awesome.
That's what my Duck Norris is basically just stacked foam. I think Rio made it, and it's basically just stacked foam, but they kind of phoned it in on the legs.
Yeah.
So it's it's this foam thing floating on the surface that might have legs, and it kind of looking from above probably has a profile, but it's not very lifelike.
No, not.
They didn't even bother with feathers on the bottom or anything to make it look realistic. At least the Master Splinter, they put you said fur underneath, so it looks like the underside of a mouse. But
yeah, and that's trying to actually. Well, don't get me wrong, it's difficult. That's why there's not a lot of them for sale online. But I just hate seeing people looking to fill a niche and not doing it well and getting away with it because it's the only thing on the market.
Yeah. I've never caught a muskie on topwater. I've blown it a couple times. I did I traditionally have done the ye old first of trout season dry fly, where as soon as I see the water break, set the hook without letting the fish actually take it. Yeah, I've done that with every muskie on topwater because I basically water broke, strip set, and they missed.
Yeah, that was I've missed two of them topwater, and it was. I can't even call it a topwater. I was using a double Buford, but as soon as it hit the water, it came up and blasted the hell out of it. And like an idiot trout set. It was, it's one of those things that I wasn't even ready to start strip
sure.
setting.
Yeah.
It was just reactionary.
Yeah.
I'm still organizing my line in my hand after my cast.
Yeah. Another thing I blame Cortland for. I missed that musky. Trying to get the knot undone. Bastards.
So, well, we better take another break, and then we'll come back and talk about how to actually fish for them, since we've covered where and what to use.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
All right, we'll see you guys here after a few.
And welcome back to Dangerous Fly Fishing, episode 79. I'm your guest host, Ross Lyskoka, here with Jim Carney as well, and Mr. Matthew Carney over there. I already know how you guys are doing, so I'm not going to ask again.
That's fair. My father does need the microphone closer to his face, though.
Yeah, we'll get there. He's
I haven't been offering much today, and I was just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah, well, we're training up a new musky fly fishing.
Yeah, I'm not a musky fisherman, so I'm going to try and find out.
Yeah, yet you aren't. You have a 10-weight from Chippewa River.
Yes, I do. I need a reel and line. I did buy some flies that fall into our category now. We're supposed to use small flies.
Right.
And those flies I bought are right in that range, so I feel pretty good.
Yeah, perfect. Knows what he's doing already.
Yeah. Speaking of flies, small world, my orthopedic doctor, apparently very good friends with Mark Burns' dad, Mark Burns of Urban Fly Company, because during my orthopedic appointment, fishing came up, and his PA was fishing down at Penns Creek, and I said, oh, yeah, I got a camp half-hour north of there. So,
yeah, it's kind of small world, especially in the fly fishing community.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that's, if there is a guy to know and be friends with, that's the one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, he ties some absolutely gorgeous flies.
Yeah, I think his are probably 80% of my musky flies.
As they should be. I mean,
I have a few I tied, and then I have a few other ones I like that I bought prior to me tying them, and then, most of them are pretty much Mark's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you buy them off of him, too, because, I'm not going to lie, Mark, if you're listening, I have copied your patterns a lot. I'm kind of sorry, but I also like tying my own flies. So you know what you're doing, so I'm going to.
Yeah. Literally copied my red horse sucker pattern at the Beast.
Absolutely. That was the only fish we hooked into, but, like an asshole, I lost it and broke a rod right after.
Cost us a tournament, broke your rod.
It was a bad day. So if you're listening, don't steal Mark Burns' fly patterns.
Speaking of tournaments, I don't know if you saw or not, but the Professional Muskie Tournament Trail had the Cave Run Lake tournament like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I think you sent me something.
I did. Josh McDunn, Nature of the Beast Fly Fishing, he and his partner ended up winning. Got first place. First
place in the that segment or the whole shebang?
The whole shebang.
Wow.
Well, that's not the whole tournament trail, just the Cave Run Lake one, because that's one of 4, I think.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I was at. I'm glad you understood what I was asking. But
yeah, I think there's 4 and then the championship.
Wow.
Got it.
Is he a local, or do you?
He runs a charter on the Allegheny River up by Warren.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we see him every muskie tournament up there, because he does the Beast of the East, and he does like all the other ones in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, congratulations to him. That's doing Pennsylvania proud in lands unknown.
I think the 2 fish they caught, I think, were like 38 and 39.
A good sized fish.
Yeah.
Now, was that fly only, or was that
it's artificial lures? Artificial lures.
Well, was it conventional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to use live bait, so it's spinning rods, bait casters, that type of stuff, but artificial lures only.
What, you don't know what he caught those fish on?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that tournament because Matt Dixon and his brother Gordo they were down there too. They do that tournament as well.
Where's that at? In
Cave Run Lake, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
That's where Todd and I fished. I guess 2 or 3 years ago now for the Kentucky River Muskie Classic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because all I had to do, because Todd was unemployed, so we couldn't do 2 vehicles and do a float. So then basically I drug the pontoon boat down and we fished Cave Run Lake because that was open water.
Well, you just took Sam down there too, right?
Yeah, Sam and I just did it, but we used his boat so we could go on the river.
Right, which is a lot better.
Well, I like rivers better than lakes, but, like I said, I've said it before, I've said it a million times, mad props to Matt Dixon for kind of giving Todd and I pointers on where to fish on Cave Run Lake because he fishes that PMTT tournament down there like every year.
Right.
So I really appreciated that from him.
Yeah, that's we're going to use this quick 5 minutes to give a couple shout outs because, like, is that chapter 49? Or Nittany Valley Musky Alliance, I believe.
64.
64.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they had a tournament. I think I mentioned it. There was a tournament today.
Yeah, but Pymatuning, right?
No, that's the Pittsburgh chapter. I think has a tournament on Pymatuning on May 16th. The Nittany Valley Musky Alliance, they had the youth tournament yesterday, and then I think there was an adult tournament today. Because you and I was talking about doing it, like, hey,
yeah,
would have been a bit of a stretch with my weekend to make it up there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that was up.
It was Kerwinsville.
Yeah, which we definitely got to hit that because that looks absolutely gorgeous water up there. But no, the reason I bring it up is if you guys are getting into musky fishing and you're looking to join an organization, like that is the absolute best one that I've found for muskie so far.
I mean, especially if you're from this area, because I think we both belong to the Pittsburgh chapter, which I think is chapter 16.
Yeah, and I am.
Well, I think we both have our affiliate chapter 64. Because I think when we signed up, they kind of put us with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it kind of worked like
Trout Unlimited.
Trout Unlimited,
where they the same thing.
Yeah,
here's the zip code.
I think 23 is Cleveland. I think 49 or 47 is New York, and then 52 is Daniel Boone, the one down in Kentucky. But anyway, I always wanted to fish that professional muskie tournament trail, at least like the first leg to see what shakes, because that's like the only one that's like not in Wisconsin.
Right, and that's like what's Treelands?
Treelands is
that's the fly only one. Right?
Fly only one.
Yeah, and that's like I'd love to fish more of these tournaments, but one, they're so damn expensive to get into.
Well, Treelands I think is pretty pricey because like the Beast is like $150 per person, but I think Treelands ends up being like $1,200 a team or something.
Right, and that's like, if I have a legitimate chance to win, okay, but like if you've got guys up there just trolling around catching muskie like that, like I have no chance to win out of that. And while I have no problem with competing, I am going to try and make sure that I actually have a fair shake.
Well, the downside of Treelands for us is we are not from Wisconsin.
True.
So that's going to be straight up it'd basically be like Kentucky for Sam and I. Like, hey, this stretch of river looks wide enough and deep enough to carry your boat. Looks like there's trees in it. We should go there.
Yeah, right. Which I got no problem with that. That's I do need to get up north and do some muskie fishing because I have been looking more and more just like, hey, where else can I fish?
Well, I was talking about getting you to go down to Virginia Beach for stripers because I think the big stripers are going to be running starting next week. And B, also Florida in the salt.
Yeah, saltwater is a area I have not even begun to tackle yet, but I'm interested.
It's very similar to bass fishing. Like I mainly use clousers.
Got it.
Or stuff that looks like a leech, which they call an eel in the ocean. And then there's crab flies. Those are your three main flies. Because you're mainly fishing for redfish, sea trout.
That and small shrimp, right?
Oh, yeah, shrimp too.
Okay. That's saltwater flies are not something that I'm very well versed in.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it's bait fish, replication, sand eels, shrimp, and crabs. And you can literally use those same flies for stripers because they're also in saltwater.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, but it's not like there's very many frogs out in the middle of the salt water. So.
Yeah, but I mean, literally you can catch tarpon, permit, redfish, all available in the ocean. Permit a little more towards the Keys, but they do have tarpon down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, tarpon is like
and bonefish have always been on my mind.
I've caught a bonefish.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's good for you, man.
It's funny. I bought some flies off eBay one time, and the guy said that they were, I can't even think of the name of them now, but a freshwater fly.
Okay.
So I bought them, and I opened this box when it came in, a big box just stuffed full of flies, and they're bonefish flies. They're saltwater flies. They're on stainless steel hooks.
Oh, wow.
And everything. And I was going to give them to you the last time you went to Florida, but I forgot about them at the time.
Oh, well, I'm probably going to, Ross and I are talking about heading down, I think, in June. So,
Well,
I'm going to try to.
You'll have a whole box of
it's kind of
bonefish flies.
well, like a lot of the bonefish flies they use, they're like called crazy Charlies, I think.
Yeah, that's the word I
They're
was
literally
thinking.
like a Clouser minnow, but mini.
Yeah.
But instead of like having like the barbell eye, it's like the chain eye.
Well, I don't
Okay.
I don't remember what these have, but they're actually saltwater flies.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I'll gladly give you guys those flies. I think I paid $5 for them on eBay.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
awesome. Hell
Can't
yeah.
beat that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention, we were talking about it during the break, and I kind of want to bring it up because I am definitely one to talk bad about government agencies.
Uh-oh.
But Jim brought up that next year, the Fish and Boat Commission in Pennsylvania is going to increase the keeper size for trout to 9 inches.
Yes,
And
9 inches.
If anybody from the Fish and Boat Commission is listening, thank you. That is definitely the right choice, and I hope that increases across like all species of fish in Pennsylvania, because
It's a
Well-
resource, you have to protect it.
Yes.
that and like while PA is famous for its absolutely beautiful water, it is also very famous for people using that beautiful water as a meat market.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see government agencies taking steps to protect a natural resource.
And there are a couple other items on there. There are 39 streams that are up for inclusion in the wild trout, wilderness trout, Class A trout, which that list continues to grow and grow and grow as waters are checked, and a shock to see what kind of fish are in them. So there's 39 new streams that are going to be included, and I was looking at the list, and there's a couple. Well, there's about 10 or 12 that are in Clinton County, which is where our camp's at. And I'll be damned if I can recognize a single name of
Right.
any one of those streams. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, more water that's
Yeah.
going to be somewhat protected, and
Yep.
that's also a good indication that like all these programs that have been trying to actually clean up streams from
Yeah.
years of pollution and mine runoff, like if we're adding 40 new streams to, you said that's the wild designation?
Wild trout, wilderness trout streams, Class A, and there's one other classification too.
Got it. But yeah, I mean, 40 new streams that are healthy, self-reproducing in Pennsylvania, that's like
Good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good news. And there was something else that I'm still investigating, is that they're trying to strengthen a lot of water quality issues. They're already looking ahead at the data centers. I guess there's supposedly a ton out east.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're talking about building a ton out by Harrisburg and stuff.
Yeah,
Like they're talking about refiring up 3 Mile Island to.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was. I'm glad you brought that because there was one that was going to go down in close to Wampum, which is
Yeah,
right
the
down
old,
the
the
road
old
from us.
Pittsburgh Speedway or whatever it is.
Yeah, as far as I know, they had the township meeting for that, and basically everybody in the township showed up and said, "We don't want this anywhere
Yeah.
close to us."
Uh-huh.
But if there is one good thing about all these data centers going in everywhere, people are coming out of the woodwork that aren't fishermen by any means, but they're looking at all the data saying like, yeah, all these like heavy water or permanent chemicals, permanent
Sure.
whatever
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to call them. Like
Yeah.
now people that aren't fishermen at all are also invested in the health of the water bodies in PA. So I'm glad to see that at least.
Yeah,
even
for
if it's,
sure.
one of those things to where they don't have anything to do with fishing, but we need all the
Well,
help
I
we
mean,
can get.
the one thing that, not related to fishing, but the one thing I've noticed in recent years is people's usage of the water has increased. Like there's a lot more kayakers and canoers and stuff than I ever remember seeing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, if that's one of your interests, then, making sure you don't get chemical burns when you fall out of your kayak seems kind of important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just, for once in my life, I'm actually seeing the state of Pennsylvania do something relatively right. So
Yeah.
I, credit where credit's due. Good for
Yep.
you guys.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, next, kind of our last segment, I guess, for the early season muskies is going to be all like the retrieval tactics because it's a little different this time of year.
Yeah, it's not the summer where you burn stuff and you're doing the saltwater double strip to get it in fast. Like cooler water means you're going to need to work a little bit slower.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't cover, I shouldn't say you don't cover as much water, but you need to cover the water that you're fishing in a lot more slowly. Like kind of what Matt was saying, you don't want to just get it back to the boat as fast as you can to replicate a fleeing fish. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. You want to give it that nice, slow, I need a word, Matt, susceptible presentation.
Yeah, susceptible will work. Susceptible to attack.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I'm glad. My personal dictionary over there. But no, you definitely want to use all the advantages of that fly line and make everything look dramatically wounded, dramatically slow moving.
Well, I mean, the important thing I think to remember is the muskies are slower because the water's cold. Well, the bait fish are also cold-blooded, so they are also going to be slower.
Absolutely. And, we talk about matching the hatch with all of trout fishing ever. And this is the one time where you can really apply it to musky fishing is you got to match what food they're going to eat is doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's real long, slow strips. You can even like swing some of these like streamers to an extent.
Or just like a wet fly.
Yeah.
Just kind of let it run through the current, give it a couple twitches like it's, I don't want to fight the current, I'm stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Like make it look like it's something that doesn't have enough oomph left in it to really fight and make it look like it's dying. Like you can cover a whole lot of water very effectively right now with a fly line, which I'm very glad to see. But, it's one of those things that I will have to make a conscious effort to not fish for muskie how I normally fish for muskie. Like, because we're so used to just throwing out meat and making it run from something. And that is not what you want to do right now. That was kind of what I was talking about earlier is like giving it that real good broadside view, like letting it pause, making it stop, which for any of our musky fishing we don't really do. But looking back on things, I have been really successful in these colder water temps by consciously letting that fly stop moving. I don't know if it's enough to trigger a like instinctive or like a reaction kind of bite, but it's effective when I slow down. Yeah. I guess is the best thing I want to say.
Well, that's the biggest muskie I've ever hooked. I mean, it was pre-spawn. It was in the winter, but it's going to be applicable here. But that was literally I cast it into an eddy and kind of let the eddy drag it around, and I was just doing like a strip, couple second pause, strip, and I ended up thinking I was snagged until I drug a log up with teeth and a tail.
Yeah, snagged on a fish.
Yeah,
it's the best snag in the world. But like that, I'm glad you brought that up too, because like, especially in those ambush points where you're saying like how that eddy was just carrying that fly around for you, like that is a great natural ambush point.
Absolutely.
For any predatory fish. Like, way to use all your skills and techniques and like studying the water to like take advantage of something that makes your life easier. Which, I mean, especially if you're fly fishing for muskie, like you need all the help you can get to make your life easier.
Yeah, because the eddy I was fishing was like a toilet bowl, literally almost like a circle right down to the middle, and literally cast to the left side of the eddy. The current took my fly the whole way around, stripping to make sure it gets down, and just, nice and cold weather. Like I said, I thought I was hung up, so I, instinctively set the hook and started, I'm hung up, drug it up, and, probably 48-inch muskie popped up. That's when Mike failed the net. I got it next to the raft, but me yelling at the net guy to get the net, he didn't think I was serious.
Mike, that is, you're a great guy, but
I'll never let it go.
No, I wouldn't either. That's, if anybody that you're fishing with ever says, get the net, like, that is not something to be taken non-seriously.
That's right, like, yeah.
That's, it's kind of like yelling fire if you need help, People, like, it's one of those things, you drop everything and run.
Yeah, well, I will say, other people I've told this story to, they've learned, so when I say get the net, they're grabbing that net, so.
Oh, yeah, that's our go. You can tell we've been fishing together for a while.
Yeah.
Like the last few times that it's been a get the net, by the time we're ready to haul a fish back into the raft, like everything is stored away decently well, not that we're going to step on and like we're just waiting there with it. And I mean, you can see it on the video, the last 2 I caught, where it's just like, all right, I'm back in, Matt's sitting there ready, and it's, okay, I'm going to pop them up, here we go.
Yeah, got a little system going.
Absolutely. 2 for 2 on the Netman record for me anyway, so.
Well, I've netted more than that for you, but yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, I haven't lost one for you yet.
No, you have not.
So, got that going for me.
The other thing that you're going to need to change up a little bit in this time of year, and it's the one I hate the most, is the figure 8.
Well, yeah. So as we mentioned, the fish are a little more lethargic. So your figure 8's going to need to be a touch slower. So for those guys that came to fly fishing from gear angling, like my neighbor, because every time I go fishing with him, I kind of keep yelling like, hey, you need to slow that figure 8 down, because he's literally just it's like not even doing big loops. I'm like, whoa, man, you need to make it intentional. But yeah, you're going to need to slow your figure 8 down, because these fish are lethargic. They're not going to be turning on a dime like they are when the water's a little warmer.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And the other thing I always forget too, my first couple times out, is I've still got 4 feet of leader between the end of my rod and the fly. And you don't realize kind of how much that plays into it when you go to take your swoop back in your figure 8, and then your fly just like collapses almost.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I've heard, and I haven't had enough experience with this specific technique, but I've been reading a lot on like musky boards and stuff like that, that especially in the colder water temps, pausing intentionally at like the apex of a curve in your figure 8, people are saying that's a pretty good technique for cold water. Matt, have you tried this out at all?
I do have done it. I've had pretty good success. I will say I don't stop at the apex of the curve. I stop right after the curve.
Got it.
Because in my experience, if you stop at the apex of the curve, that's when you get that collapse you were talking about.
Okay.
So what I usually do is during the curve, and even in the summer, during the curve, I actually speed up to make sure you keep the tension with the leader the whole way. And then once I finish the curve, then I kind of stop.
Got it.
So if you're gonna pause it, you gotta do it before or after the curve. If you do it in the curve, that's when it kind of like crumples and falls apart.
It makes sense, and that's why I'm asking you, because like stopping in a figure 8 is nothing that I have noticed that when my fly stopped moving in a figure 8, the fish just waved right off.
Mm.
And seeing that online, it's one of those things where it's like, are people actually successful with this, or are they just like mentioning things to mention them and use it as an excuse as to why they're not catching fish, you know?
Yeah. Because I mean, we've discussed before that like most of the muskie I've caught in my life have been off of the figure 8.
Yeah.
Whereas Ross has never caught one on the figure 8.
Oh, wow.
Never. I always catch them in the drift, which I much prefer.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's a hell of a lot easier to fight them out there than having to set the hook like on a short stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then thinking about it now, I kind of feel like most of the ones I catch in the figure 8 are basically the pause right before or after I do the turn.
See, I don't watch it close enough. And you talk about it all the time. As soon as you see a fish following in an 8, like it gets into the chess game almost. And I am not paying attention to anything but a fish at that point.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that like I am so used to just using my entire wingspan that I can and making it so dramatic that it seems alien to me to like I said, stop anything. But if you're successful with it,
it's not necessarily like it's an intentional stop. It's more of like you just do like
a slowdown almost,
a slight pause before you start the turn or after the turn. Because if you think about it logically from a fisher's perspective, I mean, if I'm following in the 8, I'm following, okay, this fish suddenly did a 180, like, the fish probably going to kind of take a beat to check and make sure the thing's still not behind it. And that's, like I said, usually when I get walloped.
Well, that's a great point that I didn't think of. Like, it's going to, like, stop a second and be like, oh, can I still get this?
Yeah, well, I mean, or which direction I'm talking about the bait fish stopping to see if the muskie's still behind it. Because that's the thing, is the muskie's still behind it, now the bait fish has a decision, like, what am I going to do next? And, take that little skip beat, and that's probably when we'd like to think the fish thinks, but they probably don't. But it's kind of how I view it, is like, okay, I'm the bait fish, I just did a 180 to get away from this muskie. Is he still behind me? Oh crap, he is. Now what am I going to do?
Yeah, and that's when you start your 180 the other way. And
Yep.
I kind of wonder if that's what I've been doing wrong and why I haven't been catching muskie in a figure eight is because I've just been constantly moving it slowly. But with what you're saying, like, that makes complete sense to me, and I'm a little disappointed at myself that I haven't thought of that yet. It is what it is, and that's why you got fishing buddies. But
Well, that's where I run into the problem. The chess game is, I think, as I've just pointed out, I probably way overthink how a bait fish thinks.
Yeah.
So
maybe. I
I'm
mean,
playing 4D chess against a fish with a walnut for a brain.
Yeah.
yeah, well, like, you got to wonder, this fish is too smart for me to eat. Something's wrong here. I'm gonna wave off of this one. But I'm just trying to think anything else with a figure eight, because I read that.
I mean, change depth a little bit.
You think?
Yeah, because I mean, like they live in a 3D world, so like, you're doing a slow tempo. I mean, you can still slowly change depth. Like just because you slow down because everybody's lethargic doesn't mean you have to stay on one plane.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would say in the spring, probably don't have the fly breach.
Okay. Yeah, keep it all underwater.
Yeah, because like in the summer you can get away with a breach, but in the spring, like when fish are lethargic, fish generally aren't breaching when they're not energized.
It makes perfect sense. And the other thing you taught me that I was completely missing too is especially right now, like if you're in a river where we fish mostly for these, you always want to start your figure eight, if you can, going downstream. Because with the current, if you're in an eddy, kind of a different story. But if you're fishing something with a little bit of current, like a fish is never going to run away from a predator where it has to use extra effort to go upstream.
At least it won't be its first instinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
a good point, really.
Yeah. And like I was, I could tell Matt was like looking at me a couple times when I do my eights, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, am I doing something wrong? And he's like, well, the fish isn't going to want to run up current. It's going to be slower trying to get away. And I'm like, it's like that light from heaven coming down when you get a good idea. Yeah. Oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
But, one tip I learned off my fishing buddy, if you're going to start an 8, especially right now where everything's lethargic, don't make it look like it's working extra hard, because that might be what gets the wave off going.
Yeah. And it's not always possible. I mean, obviously, if you're casting across like a run and stripping across the run, like the run's going to probably blow your fly downstream faster than you can. But, that's why when we do something like that, I usually like to park the raft in an eddy. That way, when we do the 8, we're in slack water. So now it doesn't matter that the fish is going upstream.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. And it's, situation always dictates, but, if you can utilize it, there's, I think I'd said, like, if there's 7 different things that'll actually net you a muskie, you only got to do 5 of them right. But if you miss that 5th one, it might ruin your whole day.
Yeah, for sure.
It's what's the adage in baseball? You got to 2 out of 3 and you can make the Hall of Fame.
3 out of 10 and you can make the Hall of Fame.
No, like you can hit well and you can throw well. You might not catch well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because 3 out of 10 hittings, that's Hall of Fame number.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The one thing I will say, since we're talking about the figure 8 and getting to the muskie, in the cold weather, it is super, like colder weather, colder water, it is super important to make sure you get your strip sets in. Because when the fish are lethargic, it's not going to be like it is in the summer or even the fall when the water's warmer, where like after your first strip, you suddenly feel the fish fighting, and it's not like that. It's basically, as I said before, strip it like the muskie you think it is and not the tree it actually is. And that's very applicable in this lethargic water, or when the fish are lethargic, because it's not going to be grab it, strip set, and then they're thrashing. Like, it probably might take a few strip sets and you to give them the beans before they start realizing what happened and start fighting you.
Yeah.
So make sure you get your strip sets in.
Well, that's a great point too, because half of you actually hooking a fish is the fish fighting away from that hook.
Yeah.
So if they're not really ready to fight, give it that 2nd or 3rd strip set.
That fish I mentioned earlier, I lost that Mike didn't get the net. The reason I didn't land that fish was because I didn't get good hook sets in.
Yeah.
Because my first hook set was when it was straight under the raft.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I did a couple smaller ones, but, without the fish fighting against me, like you're not having the usual force you're having.
Yeah, makes complete sense.
So yeah, I wish I'd have put a couple more strips into it, but that was where I learned that lesson: is keep strip setting that thing until you know it's a fish.
Right, and thankfully out in the current where I've caught mine, like I just strip set them the whole way in. But
yeah. Well, and then the other thing is make sure if it is that log that it actually is, make sure you got a good file to sharpen your hook back up after.
Yeah,
because that's also cost me fish.
and that was going to be the last thing I brought up. Is right now when we're actually getting back into musky season, now is the time to check your hooks.
Yeah,
I was looking through mine earlier or the other day, and I've definitely got a couple of them where the tail or the trailer hooks have like rounded points on them. So.
Yeah, 'cause I've missed quite a few musky on having dull points. So make sure your hooks are sharp.
Absolutely.
So,
well, anything? I think that kind of wraps it up for today. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
no, I think I'm pretty good. I will say it's pretty nice to talk about musky again because I'm kind of excited. I can walk again. At least until I have to have surgery at some point. I can walk again, so I'm kind of excited to get back out fishing, be it for trout or toothy critters.
Yeah.
But no, I'm pretty happy. Looking forward to getting back out for musky.
Yeah. I'd be excited to have you out there. I'm hopefully going to take my nephew somewhere trout fishing tomorrow. More than welcome to join either of you, Jim, if you're frilling up for it. But we're going to have to now that it's not going from super blown out to clear water condition. Now the rivers are starting to stabilize with the weather. I've got that musky itch. We're going to need to go out and hook into something.
Well, we need to get my outfit completed.
Well, I was about to say the other exciting thing is Dad will be joining us this year. So
absolutely.
I'm actually hoping to have the floor, fingers crossed, finish this week.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So, because I'm getting the edge to go float down some water.
Yep.
I do have one more exciting thing to bring up. That fiberglass 12-weight blank that I ordered a while ago. It's supposed to be here tomorrow morning in the mail. So
good.
I will finally be able to do that fly rod comparison that we've been talking about.
Nice.
Because I am genuinely interested to see how the three different kind of quality / construction actually perform when compared to each other.
I actually saw on Facebook Marketplace somebody was selling a 10-weight Orvis bamboo rod.
Ooh.
I saw that.
Yeah, the fact that he was like, if you know what this is, don't bother. If you don't know what this is, don't bother asking me about price. It's kind of like,
Yeah, I've seen a couple of bamboo. You can tell right about now people are like clearing out stuff from the winter, getting ready to do their yard sale kind of things.
Yeah.
And I've seen some really weird brands of like I saw a Mohawk bamboo rod that like the lady that posted it it only lasted like 30 seconds on Facebook Marketplace because she had it up old fishing rod $20, and I saw the picture and then I like refreshed to see if I could send her a message and it already had sold listed on. I'm like, damn it. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up. But do you want to walk us out of here?
yeah. Check us out. Follow us on Instagram. Search for us at Dangerous Fly Fishing. YouTube channel also. Search for at Dangerous Fly Fishing. Shoot us an email or shoot us a message on one of the social media accounts because technically we have a Facebook page too. But shoot us a message. We love hearing from you guys, whether you want to discuss how to tie flies, proper technique, what equipment we recommend, that type of stuff. We're not saying we're experts, but we do know a fair amount. So feel free to reach out. Email is dangerousflyfishing@gmail.com.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, please reach out to us, guys. We always enjoy hearing from you. Cooper and Amanda, once again, congratulations. We're happy to have another fisherman in the works. So, as always, everybody, thanks for listening. Good luck. Don't suck. Stay dangerous.